the world is ever spinning faster. It seems like the globe is rotating faster and faster. Everything is actually faster around us. If you think about artificial intelligence, biotechnology, climate tech, if you think about money spinning the globe from continent to continent in seconds, everything is going faster. But still, there are some things that are beneath that are not actually faster. Our willingness to make decisions, our willingness to commit to unknowns without a proof is actually not going faster. But yet, that's the limiting factor. It's not technology, it's not knowledge, it's not like all the other things that grow faster. It's our willingness to deal with it and to make active decisions. And today, I will share with you three more small stories. Stories that are deeply personal to me, to my career, to my decision making. But also three stories that talk about innovation and the hidden mechanisms of how we commit, how we decide about it. As founder by heart, I'll tell you that it's wise to learn swimming. As angel by wing, I'll tell you how to get a job with the Pharaoh Cheops. And as VC by profession, I tell you that Europe will go to hell, and that's a brilliant place to be, actually. Learning to swim. A few years ago, the magazine Spiegel asked me, "Hey, Andreas, what is actually entrepreneurship to you?" My answer was, it's learning to swim. And you can all relate to this picture, actually, because you all have been there. You have been this little boy or this little girl that moved up the 3 meters up to the diving platform above the swimming pool. You probably have checked that there's water in the pool and what the temperature is. You brought your towel. You probably carefully watch over to your parents. You probably checked that there's a lifeguard on duty. And now you have two obvious choices. You can jump, or you can actually walk down and say, I'll do this another day. Take back the steps. The interesting thing is, both requires courage. And now you can do one major mistake. And that mistake is freezing. That mistake is not making an active decision. That mistake is standing there and waiting for others to make the decision for you. Eventually, some older kids will push you down, or your parents will drag you down, but you give up the opportunity to make the own decision in that. And entrepreneurship is making that decision by yourself in a calculated risk, not with the random recklessness. You jump if you know there's water in it, but then it doesn't help you anymore to measure the temperature of the water 10 more times. My decision to jump happened right after my PhD in Berkeley. Just weeks later, when I revealed to my friends I'm leaving Silicon Valley, I will start my first company on an island where I've never been, in Singapore, my friends rolled their eyes in disbelief. You're leaving Silicon Valley in order to start a company. You got something wrong here. But eventually, that was a leap of faith into something new for me. It was my moment to learn swimming. It was my moment to learn entrepreneurship in a new context. And out of that became Ioxa Biosystems, a proteomics company that I later brought to Europe, to the US, and that grew years after years and raised a lot of venture capital. Learning to swim, making commitments. I was not fearless that time. But it was more fear for me not to be in motion, not to make active decisions. And it felt for me the better choice to take the fate into my own hands. Angel by wing. A job with Pharaoh Cheops. I will take you now 4,500 years back in history. Imagine you got the great opportunity by one of the most powerful men of mankind history. Pharaoh Cheops offers you to build the Great Pyramid. You get cool salary. 100 camels, house at the Nile, like lots of gold. Everything actually looks very great. Job conditions. You have unlimited resources of a superpower of that time. And now you start building. You build foundations that are super strong. A gigantic square in the middle of the desert. Big blocks of stone, super solid. Everything works actually well. And then you build a shiny pyramid top. The very tip, pure gold, massive gold shining in the sun. Huge value, all good. And then you build some scaffolds in between. some rubble and stones. It looks very shaky, and it doesn't hold up the tip of the pyramid. Clear recipe to be fired. You will lose your job if you do that, obviously. But isn't that a bit of what we are doing when we talk about innovation in Germany, in Europe, in many other countries? We build super strong foundations. We build tremendous universities. We build great clinics. We build venture capital. We build accelerators and incubators. We build entrepreneurship education, support schemes, grants, everything actually that builds a solid foundation for innovation. And then we are engaged to talk about the tip of the pyramid, about unicorns shining in the sun, values of more than $1 billion. And sometimes we forget what's in between. For every unicorn, there are hundreds of companies that fail, that have small exits, that have different fate. And they all deserve to be celebrated by us. Imagine an entrepreneur comes to you, and his pitch is, I'll create a robot. It's the size of a grain of rice. I'll put it into your brain. It will steer and navigate there automatically. It will take samples of your brain. It will deliver drugs. And on the way, it has electrodes to measure lots of things in your brain. We will be able to create it. It will navigate in your brain autonomously. You will think that's science fiction. That's not possible. That was one of the companies I invested in, actually. Roboté is a beautiful company standing for beautiful robot. And it was a leap of faith without the proof. It was without certainty that we can actually build that, and still you have to make a decision on that. And I do think we need to actually back up hundreds of companies. And we need to be okay if companies fail, if companies have exits for 10 million, 50 million, 500 million. If companies become profitable, if companies actually become parts of other organizations, all of that is the part of the middle of the pyramid, and we have to commit to building it up before we have proof that it will hold. We see my profession. Europe goes to hell. Europe goes to Helsinki, of course. Helsinki is where last November slush happened. I'll take you back to Europe, and often we connect Europe with regulation, with risk awareness, with delay, with bureaucracy, with being hesitant. And yet we have places where all this is forgotten. At Slush in Helsinki, nobody was doubting Europe. We all went to Helsinki and actually experienced the tremendous vibe we had there. Often you think money creates opportunity. That's not really true. It's belief that creates money. And this is why I think we are all the venture capital of our future. And I don't mean you all have venture capital funds, you're all independently wealthy and can finance dozens of companies. But what I mean is you all allocate resources. You all allocate resources of your time, of your network, about your expertise, about your scientific skills, and eventually also about your money in order to create decisions in uncertainty without a proof yet. And this is what I hope for us to entice much better. We all actually have to take active roles in shaping the future. We all have to deal with uncertainty, and we all have to overcome the fear that we constantly need to have a proof, because the future belongs to the people that move, the people that actually make decisions long before it is clear what the outcome will be. And I hope I'll nudge you a bit into this direction today. Thank you very much.